hope when the tide will turn against people like Wike, he will not cry then. It's in his favor. Enjoy it. It's your victory now, Wike. But hope when the tide will turn, you will not cry.
Did you know why Nigerians are crying of abject poverty in the land? Citizens are crying that they could barely get a square meal to eat as a result of the government that wickedness Wike, forced on Nigerians by stealing our mandate. Now, Wike has just secretly purchased a 2-story mansion in Florida, USA, worth $2 million. After being accused with proofs and evidence of acquiring a land in Abuja worth 3-something billion for the children. Now, we're going to be watching the video now, guys. We are complaining, of course, the reason why they don't feel what we feel because it's benefiting them. That was what he saw. He knew that if he help, allow Peter Obi to come in, let the free will of the people speak, he's not going to have opportunity, you understand, for all this looting. Hence, he did what he did and it's benefiting him. Guys, please, let me give this video a thumbs up before we watch the video. Give it a thumbs up and endeavor you share for the world to see. Let's watch the video. After a few minutes, I'll be back for us to dissect it together, okay? This video is extremely loaded because even Rufai Hussaini spoke on the shenanigans of Wike and the judiciary. Let's watch now. According to West Africa Weekly, exclusive, Wike hides $2 million Florida mansion under wife and children's name. Document expose wife as registered U.S. Democrat. Damning U.S. public record obtained by West Africa Weekly have revealed that Nigeria Federal Capital Territory FCT Minister Nyesom Wike secretly acquired a $2 million Florida mansion in March, registering it under the names of his children, Joaquin, Jasmine, and Jordan, and his wife, Justice Eberishe Wike. Records further show that Justice Wike is a registered member of the U.S. Democratic Party, potentially placing her in violation of Nigeria Judicial Code of Conduct. According to the document, the Wike family recently obtained the property located on Spring Creek Lane in Winter Springs, Florida. Okay, a West Africa Weekly source who did not wish to be named revealed that the property was purchased in a private transaction in March 2025, with Wike deliberately omitting his name from the transaction while using the names of his wife and children in an attempt to get around questions involving asset disclosure and the source of funds used to purchase the property. According to public record, the Wike family new U.S. resident is a 2-story mansion built in 1997, sitting on a 4,076 square foot lot, complete with a garage and 2 parking spaces. The property is located at 113 Spring Creek Lane, Winter Springs, Florida 32708. The newly uncovered acquisition raises further questions about the conduct of Wike, who was recently implicated in a $3.6 billion FCT land grab scandal involving his son Joaquin, given that the total annual salary and allowance of a Nigerian cabinet minister allegedly comes to about $7.8 million, roughly $5,000. It is unclear how Wike obtained over $2 million to purchase the Florida property, which raises serious concerns surrounding illicit enrichment and money laundering, potentially violating Nigeria Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022 by funneling embezzled taxpayer funds into U.S. real estate. The involvement of his wife, Justice Eberishe Wike, also conflicts with the Code of Conduct for Judicial Officers, Rule 1.2 and 5C, in bracket, which demands strict adherence to ethical standards for judges and the avoidance of all impropriety or appearance of impropriety. Public record further revealed that Justice Eberije Wike is a card-carrying member of the U.S. Democratic Party, which is expressly forbidden by the Code of Conduct for Judicial Officials (Rule 9.3a), which states it is not appropriate for a judicial officer to participate in an organization if its object are political or if its activities are likely to expose the judge to public controversy. Okay, yeah, some of the document. It will be recalled U.S. Embassy in Abuja in July published a post on X proposing to criticize Nigeria public officials for wasteful spending of public funds. It remains unclear how the U.S. government, which purports to oppose financial corruption by Nigerian public officials, could be unaware of potential multi-million-dollar real estate money laundering in Florida, a serving Nigeria cabinet minister. Okay, I think that's all for now. Okay, weekly. Okay. He said author Doron Simi is a West Africa weekly investigative reporter covering politics, human rights, health and security in West Africa and the Sahel region. All right, let's dissect it now. All right, thank you for watching. You've heard it and you've seen it for yourself. Just one thing I want to bring up from what we read. Now, the journalist said it is surprising that the U.S. government that spoke recently on how Nigerian politicians are, investing on properties and the rest, who allowed, such kind of criminality, of a public office holder, encourage it, you understand, purchasing a building, you understand, investing in the real estate. This is a city minister in Nigeria, in the U.S. That's what the journalist said. Now, this guy, what's his name? What's this guy's name? David Dane. He did a documentary on Tinubu's daughter, 21 years old. Okay, while she was 21, a bit 22, how she also purchased a house, I think in UK, worth millions of dollars as well. Now, the West that are our problem now, they see nothing wrong with all this so long you're investing it in their country. You understand? So long it is money that is coming from our politicians and no. They indirectly encourage it. It only becomes a problem when it's invested in our land. So directly or indirectly, they are also our problem. Please don't leave now. I want you to hear what Oseni has to say on the corruption of our judicial system, on how Supreme Court is helping to terminate, to buy democracy in Nigeria. Please watch this video to the end, like it and please share.
Here at Rivers, I think when the story of democracy will be written in this country many years to come, we'll ask questions about what the court did. Today, my challenge is to the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Many PDP governors filed a case against the state of emergency and a sole administrator. Why have the Supreme Court not heard that case? Or do they want to delay it till the end of the expiration of the 6-month state of emergency? Because it looks like that. Since that case has been filed, the Supreme Court have not heard that case. Because if the Supreme Court does not hear a case like that, we will not be able to determine if the aberration of the state of emergency was right. And you know what the ground it will breed? It will breed the ground for other presidents to also use that state of emergency clause to settle political scores. And that's how Nigeria starts to disintegrate in terms of morals and everything. And I might be wrong, but I'm going to give a challenge this morning that I do not think the Supreme Court will hear that case. You might prove me wrong. If they hear that case, it will be a miracle. I will come on the air and celebrate the Supreme Court. But my gut instinct tells me otherwise. Because that's what is the bane of the development of Rivers State as it is today. The fact that the court has not determined the illegality of that aberration. So everybody hides under that. And it's not the first time. The last time that the president did a state of emergency in Nigeria and the case was taken to court, the court also waited to a point where it was overtaken by events. Yeah. So when we will write about democracy, the role the courts played will also matter.
Absolutely.
So please, I would like to challenge the Supreme Court today. Save democracy. Hear that case that has been brought forward by people and some governors as regards the state of emergency in Rivers State. Hear that case to save democracy from anything remaining in this country. Supreme Court, hear that case, please. Going back to the aberration going on, the Rivers State electoral laws are clear that you must give a 90 days threshold as we speak. No 90 days threshold was given. They have just gone ahead with this determination of the date of an election under a sole administrator. In fact, I'm going to read some of the demands that were put forward by some elders in Rivers State, where they said there's currently no legally constituted state electoral RASEC as mandated by Section 235 and 12 of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Law. They talked about the 90-day notice. They also talk about that courts across the land are actively adjudicating the legality of sole administrator. That's the Supreme Court case, which is pending. In fact, pending is the Supreme Court case and Federal High Court actions. Multiple such judice challenges by the political party electoral machinery grinds under a so-called emergency guise. The fourth, they are saying Rivers State have been plunged into a constitutional crisis. The fifth, Section 7, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution vests the exclusive responsibility of local council elections in the state governments. Seventh, blatant usurpation of state autonomy desecrates our federal architecture and imperils democratic governance in the country. So these are the grounds. But all of this is tied to that Supreme Court case. So I am not surprised that Nyesom Wike will say they should ignore. Because let's ask Nyesom Wike a question. Did he ignore the first local government elections held by Fubara that was not in his favor? No. He went to courts with his cohorts. Or people surrounding him and people associated with him went to courts. And they upturned those elections. But today, when he favors him, and the reason why he's doing this is because he knows that the local government holds a haze in the grand political scheme of the states. You need a coalition of forces. And he knows that once these local government people are elected, which will probably a lot of people that are pander to him, then he'll be able to hold Fubara at the jugulars. Because he will have the State House of Assembly, he will have the local government architecture. So Fubara is just going to be a lame duck when he comes in. And that's why Wike had the temerity on television to be telling us when the state of emergency will probably end soon. And these guys that they keep giving in the government, that the state of emergency was to save Fubara, no, don't pee on our back and tell us it's raining. The state of emergency was to tilt the equation in favor of Wike. Because what it is he has gotten all he wanted. So this will be the last crown jewel. He already has the State House of Assembly. When they come back, when the state of emergency is lifted, then he will get the local government on top of it. So a man that has the local government state of, what's it called? Fubara will not be able to fight back at his own political architecture. And that's what is playing out. But for the fact that this is aided by the president of this country shows the aberration. And the fact that the Supreme Court of this country, since that case has been taken to court, have not made a determination. Let's even know. And now it looks as though we are grinding to wait till the expiration of that term and we say, oh, it's been overtaken by events. You don't run a democracy that way. Because today, it favors people like Wike. Tomorrow, hope when the tide will turn against people like Wike, he will not cry then. It's in his favor. Enjoy it. It's your victory now, Wike. But hope when the tide will turn, you will not cry.